Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Patricia Kolonicki with Long Island University to talk very briefly about the TPA, also known as the Teacher Performance Assessment requirements for EDI 613. Again, just to reiterate, these are directions and guidance specifically for EDI 613 at Long Island University, and this video has been recorded in the fall of 2023. So these are the most up-to-date directions at this time. The TPA task, or Teacher Performance Task, each university had plans that were accepted by the state. For EDI 613, to prepare you for the LIU TPA Performance Assessment, this course is going to require a thematic unit plan. It consists of 4 points. 1, unit planning, which is going to be a learning segment, which is basically a one-page summary of your unit. And I'll show you an example of that in the next slide. The second component is 3 separate lesson plans using a provided template. A small portion of one lesson plan will be presented in class, so be prepared to share as if you were the teacher and our classmates are your students. You're going to present one portion of a lesson plan in class. The third component is an assessment. So again, just like a typical math unit, you would teach some lessons and then there would be some sort of summative assessment. So your job is to either develop or modify a provided summative assessment for your students. And then finally, there's going to be a component called Parent Engagement Assignment with resources, and I'll talk a little bit about that in the next few slides. So the learning segment, this is actually a template that was used in the previous Ed TPA, but I really enjoyed it because it provides a very brief outline of not only the central focus of your unit, but also a very kind of brief overview of the 3 lessons that you'll be doing. So as you see on this outline, it has a central focus in the top, it has the state standards on the right side, and then it's going to be a table with 3 lessons going down the left side, lesson 1, below that, lesson 2 and lesson 3, where you state your learning objectives, give a really brief, these would be like bulleted lists of like what you're going to do, how the students are going to do it, and then finally a notation in the third column for formative and summative assessments during each lesson. Again, giving you and the reader an outline of your entire unit. Lesson plans. Lesson plans are going to be provided with a template. You're actually going to be provided with an annotated version of this document, which has my notes explicitly directing you onto what exactly needs to go in each component. So it's really important that you complete the entire thing in lots of detail. Another lesson plan resource is going to be your Long Island University rubrics. These are actually going to be kind of summative rubrics for you. So when you do get to TPA or your teacher performance assessment near the end when you are working on your student teaching, this is how they will be evaluating your work. So this is one of the resources I want you to get very familiar with, is these rubrics. So for example, this talks about planning for instruction and assessment. So one first is focus on learning and standards with objectives and targets. So making sure that your lesson is not only connected with the learning standards, has specific objectives and targets. And then in this part, it also notes about materials and resources. But again, the lesson plan rubric is much more extensive than that. So that'll help you kind of get your planning. And then again, like I said, the final component is this parent engagement assignment. So it's going to be what would coordinate with your unit. So it'd be a brief letter to the parents, a little summary of the unit. Here's an example from a web-based math program that I found online. Has a little bit of bullets. And then obviously you'd want to share resources for their use at home with their children. So just a little bit of a resource for you getting used to communicating with parents at home, and what kind of information you might want to include when you send stuff home to families. And that's it. It's a very quick sneak peek about what the TPA requirements are for this course, EDI 613 at LIU in the fall of 2023. And again, my name is Dr. Patty Kolonicki. Thanks so much.